In the late 18th century, a reduction of discriminatory practices spread from west to east in the wake of the American and French revolutions. The concept of the Jewish community under Napoleon changed. It was no longer a separate community, but a related entity, and as a result, Jewish institutions attained official status. As members of the Jewish community were also considered loyal citizens, they assimilated. Prayer became concentrated in large formal synagogues, which had gained the right to government subsidies. During the 19th century alone, over 200 large synagogues were built in Germany. These buildings incorporate a variety of historical styles, including neoclassical, Romanesque, and Baroque. The Luneville Synagogue shows a restrained neoclassical quality, not unlike the smooth limestone surfaces, discreet ornament, and graduated window heights of the Petit Trianon. The festoon of vine leaves may have been intended to symbolize the vegetation of the Holy Land. The Wörlitz Synagogue was provided by the Duke of Anhalt-Dessau, who admired classical architecture. It relates to the palatial La Solitude in its cylindrical plan and colossal pilasters. Inside the synagogue, the main entrance is opposite the ark, not unlike the spatial relationships of the 1st century Temple of the Sibyl. Obuda, like the Richmond Capitol, features a 6-columned portico. Seitenstättengasse is not visible from the street, and as the plan shows, is attached to an apartment building. Its oval-shaped dome relates to the more irregular Baroque dome of San Carlo. Inside, a sunburst relief radiates from the Decalogue. Unlike the San Carlo oval-shaped dome, which is carried on arches, the synagogue dome is carried on a ring of 12 Ionic columns supporting a 2-tiered gallery. Tempelgasse's attenuated cast-iron columns support 2 tiers of galleries and, by virtue of their slenderness, provide an almost unobstructed view. Its influential design is evident in several other European examples, including the Choral Temple in Romania. At 548 feet, the equivalent of 45 stories, the synagogue for the Turin community was an architect's fantasy. Its tower, like that of the First Baptist Meeting House, is square at its base and rises in several tiers that include pedimented and arcaded sections. The Paris Synagogue features a triple portal entrance beneath a semicircular gable, which we see also in the almost contemporaneous Florence Temple. Inside, transverse arches support a barrel vault, evocative of the Romanesque Saint-Cernin. And though we see transverse arches in the Rue de Tournelle also, notice that those arches punctuate a series of domes. The Paris Synagogue's triple portal entrance arches evoke the molded arches of the Romanesque Peterborough Cathedral. The Nuremberg Synagogue, like the Panthéon in Paris, exhibits a central dome supported by 4 vaulted arches, similar to the West London Synagogue, shown here in a sketch with Moorish ornament and, as built, with planar surfaces. Hanover equalizes Romanesque architecture between Jewish and Christian pasts. Both substantial houses of prayer in that city feature rose windows, molded half-round arches, and twin turrets. In Liverpool, the barrel vault, with its transverse arches, takes us back to the medieval Autun Cathedral. Do you see differences in surface decoration, the shape of the vaults, and the number of levels over the side aisles? Both built of brick, the Stockholm and Sephardi synagogues have projecting center pavilions with arcades over their entrances. While both show stylized lancet arches, the Sephardi synagogue pavilion is topped by a gable. in contrast with the tall cornice in Stockholm. Inside, we see circular windows over the arcs, which differ notably. In Stockholm, the arc is framed by a cusped arch, while in Cheetham, the arc's more classical treatment features paired columns and a segmental pediment. The polychrome lectern in Stockholm is likely influenced by Owen Jones's widely distributed Grammar of Ornament. Szeged has the polychrome exterior we associate with the high Victorian Gothic of Harvard's Memorial Hall, along with its central tower. Inside, Szeged, though far more colorful, has a semicircular apse for its arch, sheltered by a rib vault, the origin of which we see in the Abbey Church of Saint-Denis. In Rome, though the synagogue has far more exotic ornament, we still see evidence of a neoclassical influence. Like the Fine Arts Building at the Chicago World's Columbian Exposition, its colonnaded entrance is crowned by a pediment. Both have central domes and re-entrant corners. With its rock-faced masonry, dominant gable, and ribbon window below it, the Essen Synagogue acknowledges Richardson's Romanesque revival in the United States. The carefully orchestrated entry sequence of the synagogue consists of, from top to bottom in the floor plan, a courtyard, a spacious narthex giving access to paired circular stairs, and a cylindrical sanctuary with galleries tucked into the tall arches.